but the headlining card is going to be TJ Dillashaw returning after more than 2 years away against the rising sensation, maybe your future number one contender if he wins this bout, in Cory Sandhagen. BC, we'll start with you. When you think about the relevant storylines, I'm going to guess it's hard to not talk about why TJ Dillashaw was away for 2 years and what that means for this bout.
TJ Dillashaw, without question, is the dominant storyline. Obviously, tied in there hugely is the fact that it's basically a number one contender bout, and that this is like a pay-per-view quality level fight that's going to be a main event here on a seemingly random fight night, which, as you mentioned, Luke, has a lot of good storylines and fights to itself. I mean, I looked at this card on Wikipedia and was like, your body is banging, baby. I love it when you flaunt it. Time to give it to daddy. Tell me, how do you want it, right? Well, you know how I want it. I want to find out if TJ Dillashaw still has it. And I do, we tend to promote our brethren in this game, whether it's All the Smoke or the great professional comedian Brendan Schaub, who had a very good Food Truck Diaries with TJ Dillashaw that's fresh and out there, addressing, the stigma of the USADA stain, the comeback and all that. And Luke, one thing that TJ was really interested in making sure the public realizes is that they went back and tested all the samples for all of his previous fights, and it came up clean. Now, that doesn't mean he was clean. You can take that for what it is in the history of drug testing. But here's a guy who has a lot to prove. And what I love about it, Luke, was he admitted to Brendan that, he turned down potential softer comeback fights. He wanted the smoke. He wanted to make up for lost time. And Luke, he's not young at all. Do you know his age offhand? What is he, like 35-ish?
35. He was 33 when he lost his title. 35.
I mean, he's not only 35 at a weight class where you don't age well. I mean, at all. And a guy reliant upon speed and reaction time. So he's got a lot to prove. And Luke, that's without question the dominant storyline here. Can TJ still be the same? Has he used those 2 years to improve? Is it possible to improve from that high level he was in knocking out Cody Garbrandt twice? And, I thought he got screwed on the cards against Dom Cruz in a close, great, tactical, great fight. He was at a level where we were basically saying, is he the greatest bantamweight of all time? I mean, he was really at that level. Can he return to that? It's not going to be easy. Cory Sandhagen has every possible category to show you that this could be a tough night at the office. But, Luke, I want to spin the storyline back on you and say something that I really hadn't thought about that was a big talk on the Schaub sit-down, which was Sandhagen and Dillashaw are former sparring mates back in the day. How much do you think that potentially plays anything into the build to this one in terms of how confident they are in facing each other?
Yeah, I've spoken to Cory about that a couple of times, what he made about it, because initially they were at different places in their career. TJ was a champion, obviously, a few years ago, and a few years ago, a guy like Cory, I mean, I think even as late as 2017, he was fighting an LFA or RFA, whichever version it was back then. So it took him some time to get up here. He's just, obviously made a lot of the work in TJ's absence. So he has some pretty strong familiarity with him. And I was asking him, do you have any sort of hard feelings towards the guy? He didn't. I think the reason why Sandhagen likes the bout is because obviously TJ never lost his belt, man. Folks forget about that. No one took it from him except the UFC, but no fighter took it from him. No one beat the guy to become the man at this weight class. Obviously, TJ Dillashaw lost to 125, but not 135. And so I think he feels like it's a little bit uncertain and out in the open there. And plus, Dillashaw was kind of the gold standard a little bit. Not just because he was the champion, but you could just look at the way in which he competed, the intensity, the preparation, and frankly, the advanced skill set that he had. And I think Sandhagen has kind of always thought, if everyone's going to crown this guy being sort of not unbeatable, but, this is the guy to beat at bantamweight, maybe that's not the case now, although we'll see. But it was certainly the case a little while ago. And I feel like Sandhagen, he didn't tell me this exactly, BC, but the feeling I got was I want to prove that is not the case, that whatever you thought about him, I'm already past that. Not that he's fallen off. He actually thinks that Dillashaw is going to come back and look pretty good, just that he's going up against him, so it won't really matter. That's the feeling I've gotten from talking to him.
Luke, given the age of Dillashaw and those questions that we need answered, is he still elite? Is he potentially the same guy, not on the stuff? How long has he been on the stuff? All those questions that are in our mind entering this. How much do you think Dillashaw's game will have changed given the 2-year break and given the fact that he's got to be aware that, he's 35? Not that he's going to show up old overnight, but do you think he'll be more wrestling dependent? Do you think he'll be looked to be more of a counter slugger than, quick Nat who's in and out jumping in there?
It's a question of. So my storyline for this, BC, I can answer your question this way. My storyline for this fight is, I think, something that people don't really think about too much, which is, we know, I mean, this show is living proof, but we know, BC, that like MMA and boxing are more intertwined now than ever. In some ways, promotionally, Clarissa Shields doing big things in PFL. You got these weird crossover exhibition fights, and everything's kind of coming and going. But, you're seeing a lot more cross-training. You're seeing a lot more boxing trainers in MMA, and you're seeing a lot more guys training with boxers, and there's also a lot more acceptance in boxing of MMA's place than there used to be. I'm telling you, folks, and BC can back this up. 15 years ago, boxing was A, way more popular than MMA, and B, there still is going to be a rivalry, BC, for as long as these two sports are around, but it was a lot more hostile. There's a lot more distance between the sports. There was no community, so to speak, between them. That's not the case anymore. Why do I bring that up? Because one of the reasons now that you're seeing a lot more positive attitudes about MMA on the boxing side. Again, not that they're like, oh, we love MMA so much, but there's something a lot less negative than they used to be. It is because, frankly, the game got a lot better. Dude, the striking used to be bad in MMA, or at least not very good. It's pretty good. Now, it's very different from, obviously, boxing stance and gloves and target areas and whatnot, but it's gotten way, way, way better. Dude, part of the reason why this fight to me is so interesting is that, man, this is like the mod. I mean, okay, TJ's 35, but in terms of the game that we think he's carrying and the game that we know Cory Sandhagen is carrying, is this modern game of moving and feints and camouflage and just pinpoint accuracy and all the things that you know it to be. This was a match that was not even possible at 135, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago. You couldn't get two guys who were not title holders who could do the things that these two could do. And it's a testament to how far MMA has come. It's a testament to the growth of bantamweight. And it's a testament to these two individuals for being vanguards of this vast improvement in the striking arts of the mixed martial arts that we commonly know and understand. And I think we should not lose sight of how good we have it.
Oh, yeah, and how great we have it that this got postponed and that this is, the same weekend that was supposed to be Fury Wilder 3. Now you don't get that, but it's not much of a hiccup because this fight is. I'm glad this fight gets the central attention, Luke, because it deserves it. So
let me ask you this, BC. If Sandhagen loses, and I say that in a way where, let's say Dillashaw wins convincingly, whatever that means, does he deserve a title shot? I know it's crowded at the top, but what do you make of where he should go based on a victory?
My personal stance is the winner of this fight should get the next title shot after they sort out the Jan Aljo rematch. It was obviously a disappointing way that the title changed hands. We all kind of wish that the sport had some kind of alternate rules for that situation that wouldn't involve, or at least I do. I don't want to speak for everybody. At least I do, Luke. But we need that clarity. We need that closure of that series. But I think without question, the winner here should get it. Sandhagen's already been deserving on the outside looking in. Yes, he lost to Aljo, and that, took a step back. But, man, did he repair that in such a powerful way. And Dillashaw's got the name, man. And to your point, no one took the belt from him. So I never thought Dillashaw should have parachuted back in coming off the suspension and get rewarded with a title shot. I hate that shit. I hate it when Lesnar walked in the cage and pushed DC that time and was going to get rewarded from his, colossal steroid miss and get that. But you go out there and beat Cory Sandhagen, dude. What else are you going to ask of TJ? Yeah, give him that title shot. No question about it. So
I'm with you. I thought a fight that made a little bit more sense would have been the fight against Aldo, but they didn't make it. They made this one instead. Maybe this one's even better, and I agree with you. The winner of this one absolutely should get the winner of Jan versus Aldo, especially if it's Sandhagen too. If Sandhagen goes, Sandhagen just ran through Frankie Edgar in 30 seconds in his last fight, something insane. I think if he does that again, then or not, obviously it doesn't have to beat him in 30 seconds, but if he does something kind of similarly impressive, I don't know how you can deny the guy. Any other storyline from the fight?
We don't talk enough about this is a big boon for this division, which was already loaded, was already kind of, we considered it after lightweight, maybe the best division in the sport. And obviously, look, there's some featherweights great right now. Women's strawweight's always going to bang me, Luke. At least I hope it would. But this division now just gets a star and former champion and one of the all-time greats just dropped right back in the middle of the picture. So even if Dillashaw loses but looks good, you're going to be able to make so many great fights off of this, Luke. What a embarrassment of riches the UFC has in most of their divisions right now.
So what happens now?